Hey guys, sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I just kind of lacked inspiration, so that's kind of sad because there's so many inspiring people. But I finally read something that really just kind of stood out to me and thought it was really worthy of making a video. I don't want to put up like a piece of junk. Um, so yeah, so this is like kind of like a trip report. It's not really, but it's um, it's really interesting and it's really well written. And if you're not patient, then might as well stop watching because this might take a while. But basically, I'm going to read what this guy said, and I found this on erowid, and I just think it's amazing. So anyway, I wake and look at the clock. It's just after 3 a.m. I listen to hear if there was a noise that had awakened me. My wife is soundly asleep next to me. My 4 and 7-year-old sons appear to be asleep in their beds. I hear nothing from the guest room where my wife's friend and her infant are quiet. It seems everyone is asleep but me. For some reason I am wide awake. For a while I try to get back to sleep, but it occurs to me this will be a good time for a quick test I wanted to conduct. So right here, I thought this was really funny right off the bat, um, because this guy is gonna smoke Banisteriopsis copy, and that's how I ended up, falling into the report. I was looking up some information about Banisteriopsis copy on its own, and this is what I got. So anyway, I just thought it was funny. There are people in his house, and he's going to take that risk. It's a pretty ballsy move. I am planning a communion with Teonanacatl next week, and I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but that's kind of like I guess the spiritual way of saying like mushrooms or psilocybin or whatever. Um, my last communion with the mushroom spirit resulted only in a serious case of the giggles. While it was fun and I did learn a few important things from the giggles, I want to go deeper. Since my supplies are limited, I have been considering ways to help my experience go deeper with the same amount of Teonanacatil. It is not common, but I know that Amazonian Indians have been known to smoke ayahuasca, and my friend and mentor in Peru has told me that smoking ayahuasca will enhance the effect of Teonanacatil. There is some chemical basis for this. The MAO inhibitors in ayahuasca should enhance the psilocybin and teonanacatil, the same way many self-styled consciousness explorers use Syrian root to intensify other drugs. But smoking would be a very good way to absorb the MAO inhibitors. And even if smoking were an effective way to ingest ayahuasca by itself, ayahuasca should be psychoactively inert. Without chacruna, which is another name for ayahuasca, some other DMT source, or another chemical such as psilocybin, smoking ayahuasca should not shift my consciousness. Then he leaves an erowid note. People do not report that Banisteriopsis copy does have psychoactive properties in its own right. Um, as I must never forget, it isn't about chemistry, it's about spirit of the plant. It's about the spirit of the plant and being in a good relationship with it. Years ago, long before I befriended Mama Ayahuasca, I tried smudging with ayahuasca. I burned a small piece of dried vine and watched the smoke over my body. I immediately got very sick, my lungs seized up, and I coughed and wheezed for 3 days. It was a silly experiment conducted by someone who simply didn't know what he was doing. Since then, I have made peace with the spirit of the vine when it's brewed in a traditional way. I know that if I smoke the vine now, my new relationship with Mama Ayahuasca will keep me from getting as sick as before. But I need to know if it will affect my breathing at all. If I can smoke this without having breathing problems, I can ask ayahuasca to help me along on my next Teonanacatil journey. I go to the sacred space in my home. I take a moment to pray and connect with the spirit. I have a special pipe I use solely for these experiments. My other pipes never get anything but sacred tobacco in them. I lay out this stone and wood pipe and sanctify it with sage. I put a moderately sized pinch of shaved ayahuasca vine into the pipe and smoke it. I'm surprised that it smokes up so well. It stays lit easily and produces a good amount of smoke. I intentionally do not inhale, although of course a small amount of smoke could not help but go into my lungs. It does not taste bad. It is similar to what I imagine it would be like to smoke oak. I feel no change of consciousness or spirit at all. There is a dryness in the back of my throat as if I had eaten sawdust. I check on my family and guess again everyone is safe and asleep. Still wide awake and knowing I could not sleep, I return into the sacred space. I put on headphones to sit down and listen to Byron Metcalf's Helpers, Guides, and Allies. I've never really gotten much from the CD, but it seems most appropriate for the situation. Smoking ayahuasca in the middle of the night with no sitter and with guests in the house sounds like just another context-free spiritual experiment. No different than kids going to a rave and ingesting whatever substances they happen to find, subjecting themselves to whatever spiritual forces might be floating around. I know that the teacher plants and everything our society knows as a drug are only safe and effective in the context of time-proven traditions and culture. Yes, of course, traditions must be kept alive. They must expand, transform, adapt to new situations, or they become dead dogma. That's an awesome line, by the way. And I also know that it's physically, psychologically, and spiritually dangerous to try to transform a tradition without already having mastered that tradition. And by no means have I mastered the traditions of ayahuasca. Really good paragraph, actually. This guy must be a writer or something. Um, I smoked ayahuasca without understanding the traditions, without the benefit of a cultural context to guide me. That's just like the music on the CD, an interesting experiment but with no specific cultural context, no heritage of time-proven use, no background, just cool, interesting, exciting, context-free, new age, neo-shamanic guesswork. I don't apply a value judgment to context-free. I'm not saying it's bad. In fact, in some situations it's good and necessary. I'm just saying that for me in this situation, context-free was not what I should have been doing. However, as the music progresses, I realize that I am hearing it in a whole new way. While I am not particularly enjoying the music, it seems much more pertinent, much more alive than ever before. I'm aware that my consciousness has indeed shifted to some small degree. Suddenly I smell an intense, sharp, and nearly overpowering odor. I open my eyes and look around to see if something is burning. I realize I'm smelling the fresh sage that is dying in the corner. My sense of smell apparently is greatly enhanced. Then I have to take a dump, badly. It is reminiscent of the effects of brewed ayahuasca. I decide to use the bathroom in our bedroom where my wife is sleeping. As I walk through the dark hallway outside our bedroom, I am filled with an awareness of myself as alpha male. Now, this is where it starts to get really interesting. These feelings are completely alien to me. No one who knows me personally would ever imagine I could have such feelings, but for some reason I'm intensely aware that I own this house. I'm the largest, strongest, smartest one here. I provide for these people. Without me, they would starve and freeze to death. They went to sleep with full bellies tonight because of the sweat of my brow. Those sweet innocent little boys sleeping in the next room, I created them from just one tiny cell. I will guide and temper them into empowered, worldly men. That's how powerful I am. A successively nice house in a successively nice suburban neighborhood in my kingdom, and nobody better fuck with me. I am a man. My body is a man's body. My soul is a man's soul. While I am not at all sexually aroused, I am aware of my genitals between my legs, and I am proud of them. This is amazing. I am aware these feelings are unusual and must be part of the consciousness shift I am experiencing. I go to the bathroom and take a very large dump. Wish you could have been more articulate, but as I pass through our bedroom on my way to Byron Metcalf, my wife stirs and calls to me. She asks me to come back to bed to cuddle. My wife is rarely interested in sex, and so cuddling is usually all we do. I climb into bed and foreplay starts immediately. She asks me to fondle and suck her breast, which she hasn't allowed me to do for years, not since she ended breastfeeding. Our sex is deep and intense, our bodies seem unusually sensitive. We don't even need lubricants as we typically do. After we both have orgasm, I lay back. I love the wetness around me and the smells of our bodies. I am aware of the muscles of my body. There's a man's body with large, powerful muscles, and I am aware my penis is happy. I close my eyes and see a crowd of creatures that are half men and half animal. Horse, bull, frog, eagle, and others my conscious mind can't comprehend. I dance with these creatures as I hold my wife. We doze lightly. On most mornings, my sons come knocking on our bedroom door about 5:30 a.m. and climb into bed with us. While I have a close and loving relationship with my sons, typically in the mornings they are mama's boys and want nothing to do with me. On this day, right on cue at 5:30, there's a knock on our door. My sons climb into bed with us, but today something is different. First they lay between my wife and me, but this morning they both want to be next to me. We shuffle in bed until I have one on each side of me, but inexplicably that's not enough. Neither of them wants to be near Mom. In more shuffling around, they finally ask Mom to leave the bed entirely so they can be close to me alone. Now a full day after I smoked the ayahuasca, I am physically and spiritually fine and normal. I have no coughing or wheezing. My alpha male feelings have moved on. Note I had not taken any drug prescription otherwise for more than 6 months except the occasional ceremonial use of tobacco. I had followed the MAOI diet for 2 days. Yes, I know that traditionally ayahuasqueros abstain from sex, particularly for 3 days before and after a ceremony. But in this instance, I really feel that having sex was not only okay, but part of what I needed to experience. Yes, I also know that smoking ayahuasca is not psychoactive on its own. Yet I also know the chemistry is just one tool which the spirits of these plants use. And as I know, these plants affect not only the ones who consume them, but others around them as well. Thank you, Mama Ayahuasca, for blessing my sexuality and my half of the human race. Thank you for showing yourself to me in your smoke. Thank you for being gentle with me. Um, so yeah, that's it. I know that was really long. It was like a recital there. But yeah, for anyone that's still watching, hope you guys get as much out of that as I did. Um, I was just thrilled as I was reading it. I haven't been that enthralled in a while, so I just thought it was amazing and wanted to share it with you guys. So, all right, peace.